When I got to Nigeria, I didn't have any network. I was doing everything I could to land clients, cold emailing, finding introductions, and even LinkedIn messaging. Finally, after months, I get a meeting with a potential client and I pitch my services, digital marketing, content, because that's what I knew. She says, "Great, we'll take up the content services, but first we need a portal where all of this content will live." I said, "I'm sorry, I'm not a developer and I don't know how to code a portal." She smiled and said, "Well, you have to figure it out." And believe it or not, I did figure it out. For the next couple of years, I kept figuring things out. And I thought my initial business struggles in Nigeria were over. Little did I know what was coming. April 2016, Nigeria is hit by its worst fuel shortage in years. For a week, there was no fuel available for my car. Gas stations looked like parking lots. People literally sleeping in their cars for days, waiting in line. But the fuel crisis wasn't even the worst part.
And according to Bloomberg, the Naira was among the 4 worst performing currencies in the world in 2016.
My business revenue cut in half, practically overnight. 3 years of building everything from scratch, and now it felt like it was all crumbling at once. I was losing my mind. At the time, there was this cafe in Victoria Island I used to go to. And one day I was just sitting there, probably looking completely defeated. This older Lebanese businessman, being doing business in Lagos for decades, comes and sits down near me. We've spoken a few times before. I don't know why, but that day I just tell him everything I'm going through. The fuel scarcity, the currency collapse, my business struggling, losing clients. I felt like I was drowning. He listened to me very patiently, nods, and then asked me just one question. "How many years have you been in Nigeria?" I said, 3 years. He smiles, leans back. "Oh, the first 20 years are tough. It gets better afterwards." It made me laugh. I knew he was joking, but he wasn't really. There was a lot of truth in there. And then it hit me. I was thinking in weeks, maybe months at best, but he was talking 20 years. He was operating on a completely different timeline. Decades. Over the years, I have worked with so many founders from around the world. Most of them have the same problem. Zero long-term thinking. One bad quarter and they will panic. Then pivot, then try some more, and then give up. A lot of these founders are from Ivy League business schools, where they are trained on quarterly reporting and this quarterly thinking. But Nigeria, the toughest business school on the planet, taught me the opposite. Long-term thinking is a competitive advantage. But most of us, whether running a business or just living our lives, operate on very short timelines. You know that saying, we overestimate what we can do in 1 year, but we underestimate what we can do in 10 years. In business, a bad quarter and you think it's over. You panic, you pivot too early or quit entirely. In life, things go wrong for a few weeks, a few months, and you think you failed. With our attention spans shrinking, we are just not able to think long term. But Nigeria taught me to zoom out. Look, I know we don't have the luxury to think in decades, certainly not 20 years, but at least we can switch from quarterly to yearly. Not pretending the crisis isn't there, but not letting one bad quarter or one bad year define everything. 6 years in Nigeria, I grew more in that country than anywhere else. I didn't go to an elite business school, but I survived the toughest business school on the planet. And it taught me to zoom out.